Faculty Marshal, I now declare this commencement officially open. The ceremony will be officiated by W. Taylor Reevely IV, the 26th President of Longwood University. Please remain standing for the national anthem led by Angela Carter, class of 2024, and the posting of the colors by the ROTC Color Guard.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may post the colors. And please be seated, everyone. To everything, there is a season, a time for every purpose, and it is joyous to be joined together now to celebrate, to enjoy a ceremonial moment of pomp and achievement here on this great and relatively cool spring afternoon at our ancient university, at our 184-year-old institution. This is a proud tradition, this graduate ceremony. We celebrate the hard work that has led you to this culminating moment, and graduates, we celebrate what lies ahead. Great adventures, meaningful challenges, as you take what you have learned at Longwood back into the communities where you live and serve. Longwood's mission is to shape citizen leaders, and it is a great joy, truly a great joy, to see the faces of so many wonderful citizen leaders, our graduates bedecked in glorious regalia, about to roll forward, newly fortified into the world, a world that certainly and dearly needs you. And it is also a particular joy to welcome those of you who are here today to share in the success of our graduates, families. All of you played an essential part in the stories of these graduates we celebrate, supporting them, inspiring them, encouraging them, pushing them. A graduation ceremony is one of life's great moments, and I hope you share in the pride of this occasion. You too are part of the Longwood family. And as the father of young twins, a little boisterous cheering from kiddos is fine as things go along. And I also extend a special welcome to our rector, Mike Evans, Speaker Cox, other members of our Board of Visitors, senior leadership of the university, as well as the Longwood University Foundation, including Foundation President Bob Wirtz, 85, and Alumni Board President Erica Howell, 07. Graduate study is an integral part of the fabric of Longwood through the generations, starting all the way back in the 1950s, so through 7 decades now. And the future promises a richer and richer tapestry of graduate studies here under the leadership of Dean Janine Perry, devoted star of the alma mater in every season of life. A great university thrives with great graduate programs. And graduates, you have indeed helped make us a university in full measure, a diverse community of people with a range of backgrounds and experiences, working together in pursuit of education, research, and enriching one another's lives. Many of you also are now joining the elite array of double Lancers, as Alumni President Erica Howell will mention too. A full 99 of you assembled today, including Moya Braycliffe, my great friend. Moya, your mom watches over this all with heavenly pride. And let me say a word also about where we are assembled. So many of you, doubtless, are perhaps rabid and faithful Lancer basketball fans, and starting next year, thanks to the magnificent philanthropy of Joan Brock, class of '64, and others, the home of Lancer basketball will be next door in the JPB, which you may have walked by, and which will warrant some fun trips back to campus in the future. For 40 years, since the early '80s, Willett Hall, right here, was our basketball home, as well as an academic hub, and it will go on to serve the university for decade after decade to come. But even with all the glories of those March Madness runs last year, the really transcendent moment for Willett Hall was having the attention of the nation during the vice presidential debate in 2016. But politically, I do fear more and more each year that that night of October 4th, 2016, is a postcard from a better time that we need to recapture. On a stage right there, with Willett transmogrified into a TV studio, stage right there with tens of millions of people watching, along with more than 100 students here in the hall, Democrat Tim Kaine and Republican Mike Pence engaged in a civil, if spirited, debate, as had happened so many times with candidates for national office in preceding decades. But think about this. Since that night, almost 7 years ago, there have been no normal general election debates between candidates for America's highest offices. Normal being the operative word there. Instead, too often politics has become less about persuasion and principled reason than about listening only to voices you already agree with both extremes of the political spectrum giving to shouting down anyone they may disagree with, which is a very different thing than civil dissent and peaceful protest. Now, as a student of American history, which is to say the history of the world's greatest democracy, I see better days to come, but they will be the fruit of hard work by leaders, graduates like you, bending your energies and your intellects to the common good beyond the confines of faction and partisan advantage. Your lives and careers can bear out the habits of democracy that Longwood, Virginia's third oldest institution of higher learning, public institution of higher learning, one of America's 100 oldest colleges and universities. Those habits of democracy that Longwood is dedicated to. You do carry our hopes. And so, in the presence of family and friends, of officials of the alma mater, graduates, I thank you, and I hope that you have taken inspiration from our traditions and virtues here and from our common purpose of citizen leadership. We hope we have helped you grow and become even stronger and better in your devotions, and certainly you've done the same for Longwood. Congratulations on all you have accomplished, and savor this moment, this time of pomp and ceremony. And in that spirit, let me subside and offer some programming notes. We will make our approach to this evening's main act of conferring degrees through several important ceremonial steps. First, we will have words of welcome from our rector, Mike Evans, the head of our board, and from Erica Howell, then president of the Alumni Association. Then I will introduce our distinguished speaker, whom I will extol in full in a moment. And I am delighted that Scott Davis is here to see his old friend, town manager of Farmville. And then we will make announcements of academic honors and prizes among graduate students and graduate faculty. And then, after spiritual preparation, we will come to the main act, the conferring of degrees and the hooding of each of our graduates, the hooding itself being a rite of passage and the bestowal of advanced degrees that dates to the 12th century. It is splendid to be together for this wonderful occasion. Let's begin, and Mr. Rector, I give the podium to you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer my own welcome to graduates, their friends, their families, and our distinguished guests. From where I stand, it's kind of an obvious statement, the energy in the room is palpable. During my time on the Board of Visitors, this ceremony is my favorite because it embodies all the excitement of tomorrow's event in a more intimate setting, and it celebrates individuals who have embarked upon what I call the adventure that an advanced degree presents. On behalf of the Board of Visitors, I offer our heartfelt congratulations on this milestone in your lives and in your careers. For each of you, the journey has been your own, with challenges, obstacles, perhaps maybe a detour or two. But you have persevered. I know each of you has in mind today people who supported you along the way. Relatives, friends, professors, coaches, staff. Today, we celebrate you and those with whom, and all who helped you along this journey. The recent numbers I've seen report that only about 13% of the population possess an advanced degree. As such, your achievement equips you with unique knowledge, skills, and abilities that create a wealth of opportunities for you and those with whom you will work. And there will be opportunities. In a purely practical sense, you will have access to jobs and career security where you can apply the skills that you've learned and the critical thinking that you've honed in your respective programs. What you may not yet realize is that you will be encouraged to influence important policies and practices that shape the organizations and systems with which you work. Simply stated, you will be welcomed to a seat at the table and asked to provide leadership. My message to you is equally simple. We live in a world today that is at times deeply divided and challenged by rhetoric and events that push us further apart. I implore you to use your leadership skills for the greater good by working to narrow our cultural gaps, promote civil discourse, and invite those with different perspectives to the process of finding solutions to whatever problem you are seeking to solve. And speaking of leadership, I want to close my remarks with a special word of thanks to President Reevely. The average tenure for a college president these days is 6 years. Next month marks the 10-year anniversary of President Reevely's appointment. Yes. During his tenure, Longwood has enjoyed remarkable success and unprecedented achievements. Our endowment has doubled. We've gained national attention for Civite, our transformative core curriculum. Campus has become even more beautiful, enhancing our connection with Farmville. The university's partnership with the Moton Museum is the only such partnership in America between a university and a civil rights museum. And it has made possible a genuine national awakening as to the important civil rights history, both difficult and deeply inspiring, that took place here in Prince Edward County. More recently, Longwood's courageous persistence through COVID was the work of hundreds of staff and faculty who worked tirelessly alongside our students. In Longwood's 184 years, those years facing COVID will stand out as some of our finest. Longwood's extraordinary progress reflects President Reevely's vision, his strength of character, and his deeply rooted values. Yet, he remains humble about his record of success. His steadfast commitment to Longwood and the broader community is a natural extension of his compassion for others and his desire to see those around him flourish. Caring and engaged leadership matters, and it makes the difference. By all measures, President Reevely is truly a gifted leader. As he marks these first 10 years, we're grateful to President Reevely setting the pace. Longwood's momentum is a wonderful thing, and now you carry it forward. I congratulate each of you. Longwood is an example of how a complex, important institution can thrive in the 21st century. Stay faithful and devoted to our university. Thank you.
The rector and I, Mike and I, have been walking the road a long time together. You humble me, my friend. 10 years can go by in the blink of an eye. I know a lot of us know that. And it is a deep joy, truly a deep joy, to see the alma mater prospering. And as Mike said, that is a testament to so many, but it is truly a testament to you all. So thank you all. Thank you, Mike. Well, we get to continue our ceremonial steps now, and we will hear from the great Erica Howell, undergrad class of 2007, to say a word of welcome on the behalf of the Alumni Association. Erica.
Good evening, class of 2023. My name is Erica Howell, class of 2007. As the president of the Alumni Association, it is my honor to welcome you all to the alumni family. Earning a master's degree is not easy. Long hours of studying and writing papers while juggling everything else in your life. As you reflect back on this chapter of your life, I hope you are reminded of your strengths, how you persevered in the face of challenges, how you see opportunities instead of barriers, and how your alumni family can open doors for many opportunities. Many of you received undergraduate degree from Longwood and are already members of Longwood's Alumni Association, I believe 99 of you. What an honor to be a double alum. If this is your first degree from Longwood, I hope your time here has allowed you to build relationships that will connect you to Longwood for years to come. It is truly amazing how the Longwood spirit connects us all and allows us to carry a piece of this special place with us always. It's even more amazing when you connect with other alumni and can feel the joy that only other Longwood alumni can truly understand. My favorite part about being involved in the Alumni Association has been connecting with fellow alumni across generations. As we celebrate tonight, we want all of you to be involved as alumni. There are many opportunities to stay engaged with Longwood, including attending regional events, to connect with fellow alumni, and returning to campus for Alumni Weekend and other special occasions. Graduates, you have been a Longwood student at most for a few years. Now you become part of the Longwood alumni family forever. On behalf of the Alumni Board, I offer each and every one of you congratulations and best wishes for a happy and successful life.
Thank you, Erica. Last year, he was noted by President of Virginia State University, Makola Abdullah, on his appointment to lead the Virginia Business Higher Education Council for his, quote, dedication, positive spirit, and collaborative approach. Those traits of character are the same that had led to his unanimous election by Republicans and Democrats alike as Speaker of the Virginia House of Delegates in the particularly politically fraught year of 2018. I am honored to call the Honorable Kirk Cox my friend. Speaker Cox is a longtime champion of education in Virginia, a committed public servant, and a longtime supporter of our great university and our citizen leadership mission. A forefront thing to know about Kirk is that he is, like many of you, by calling a teacher. He spent 30 years in the classroom. Even as he rose in responsibility in the General Assembly, he continued to teach civics and government at Manchester High and Chesterfield, including to some of our board members. He understands deeply and has helped generations of students to appreciate a value that very much animates Longwood, the deep connection between education and democracy. Kirk served in the Virginia House of Delegates for over 3 decades, from 1990 to 2022. Representing Colonial Heights and Chesterfield, he ascended through the ranks of leadership and served as Virginia's 55th Speaker of the House from 2018 to 2020. As a legislator, he increased access to higher education through the Higher Education Opportunity Act, championed college affordability, and helped create the Go Virginia program, part of a range of connections he has made between the Virginia business community and our public colleges and universities. As a legislative leader, Speaker Cox made it his priority to strengthen Virginia's higher education system. Working across the partisan aisle and with leaders in both legislative chambers, he supported investments and legislation to enhance college affordability by helping institutions hold down tuition, limiting student fees, and providing workforce credential grants and other forms of student financial assistance. With upright heart, he shepherded them and guided them with his skillful hand. After concluding his acclaimed tenure in the General Assembly, he has continued his service to the Commonwealth as president of the Virginia Business Higher Education Council, VBEC, continuing to drive the momentum of Virginia's colleges and universities. And though he is a JMU grad, throughout his career, Kirk has been a great champion for Longwood, a believer in our mission, and a proud Lancer parent. Oldest son, Lane, is a Longwood undergrad class of 2014 graduate. So we welcome Speaker Cox here to share his wisdom today with gratitude for his lifelong commitment to education, and in a time of much division and rancor, the example of civility and collegiality he has set in his career of public service. And before he takes the podium, Mr. Rector, will you come forward so we can bestow the honorary degree as well? Speaker Cox, the resolution reads, Marvin Kirkland Cox, devoted champion of K-12 and higher education throughout his career, as a longtime public school teacher, as a legislator and Speaker of the House and the Virginia General Assembly, and most recently as president of the Virginia Business Higher Education Council, as well as a Longwood parent and friend through many decades to our university and its distinctive mission of preparing citizen leaders for democratic life, with appreciation for his manifold efforts to advance the cause of education in Virginia and for the civility and deep personal integrity he has displayed during his career of public service, Marvin Kirkland Cox is hereby conferred the honorary degree of Doctor of Humane Letters this 19th day of May in the year 2023, the 184th year of the university. Mr. Speaker, the podium is yours.
So this first question is for everyone, both family and graduates. So how many of you remember who spoke at your high school graduation? Raise your hand. How many of you remember what they said? I agonized over the speech. Literally, I've been grumpy for 2 weeks. I've canceled appointments. I really wanted to give you a lasting impression. I really wanted to say something so profound that it would stay with you for the rest of your life, or maybe until next year, or maybe just till 11 o'clock tonight. I really didn't want it to be your typical graduation speech. Go out there and be successful. I thought of being dramatic, like one of my heroes, Winston Churchill. Once while giving a graduation speech at Harrow School in 1941, in the midst of World War I, he supposedly stood up and said, "Never give up, never give up, never give up," and sat down to thunderous applause. Well, now the pros of this is, for you it's a 10-second speech. The cons, I'm no Winston Churchill. He didn't actually did that, he spoke for 20 minutes, so sorry. I could go with the standard, commencement means the beginning, not the end. Graduation is a great milestone. I could proceed with my 3 major points. After all, every graduation speech has 3 major points. So point number 1, set your lifetime goals. Take 2 minutes tonight and list as many goals as you can: family, social, career, financial, community, and spiritual goals. Let your imagination run wild. Take another 2 minutes and choose the 3 most important to you. Next, define how to achieve those goals. Go through this exercise each time you have a birthday. This simple exercise will give direction to your life. I could finish off point number 1 on goal setting with something witty like this. An architect must consider many things in drawing the plans of a house. You're the architect of your life. You will not attempt to build your life without plans put to paper. Likewise, you should not attempt to build your life without plans. Point 2, always do your best. And I can tell you a really good story. 30 years ago, I'm teaching a young lady who had just come over from China for about 2 years, had been in the United States. And she's in Mr. Cox's honors government class. And I was really way too hard. And I gave them this awful presidential project. It counted 2 test grades. And I guarantee you she spent 30 to 45 hours on that project. So I'm grading the papers. And it's really good. But it's not an A. It's a B+. And being the tough, mean teacher I am, I gave her a B+. Being the chicken I am, on the next day, 5 minutes before the bell rings, I hand her paper back. And so the bell rings, and she walks up to the front of the room, and she rolls the paper up, not mad, and places it in the trash can. So I look at her, and there are tears coming down her face. And I feel like the biggest heel in the world. So I go up to her and say, Daisy, that project was amazing. I know you spent 30 or 40 hours on that. And she looked at me and she said, Mr. Cox, I could have done better. So that is always do your best. Even though I've given you, point number 3, even though I've given you some excellent advice, it's just standard graduation boilerplate. So I'm going to try over the next few minutes just to give you some things maybe I've learned on leadership and about life, and hopefully they'll mean something to you. So first, savor this moment, and I mean that. Your graduate degree is a big deal. And if I could, look around for a second of all of these friends and family that are here, and I'm going to make you guys move a little bit. I think you should all stand up and give these master's graduates a nice round of applause. Everyone in the audience. So congratulations from the bottom of my heart. And if you think about this, 13% of folks in the United States actually get their graduate degree. And I reflect on my mom, who in the 1940s was the first in her family to go to college. She went to Mary Washington College in those days. And when I was probably in my teens, she was a teacher. And she went back and got her master's. And that was really, really hard. She had 2 boys. She was working full-time. And she went to Virginia State University. I can remember summer nights, I can remember in the fall and the spring, her sitting there at that kitchen table, working tirelessly on that master's. So she wanted to be the best teacher she could be. And I'm going to brag on my wife a little bit, Julie, so if you'll stand up. So my wife, Julie, stand up. I love embarrassing people. It's part of what I do. So now you can sit down, because this is a rather long thing. So Julie is Phi Beta Kappa at William & Mary. I never had to worry about being Phi Beta Kappa at JMU. But she was a psychology major. And as things happened, she went on and did a lot in business, which she loved. She owned her own business. We had 4 boys. But her real passion was crisis counseling, and especially helping those in crisis, bipolar, psychotic, et cetera. So she goes back to school, which so many of you have done, online, and she gets her master's in professional counseling. And she is now Director of Emergency Services and Same-Day Access for Chesterfield County. And you think about the doors that master's is open for her. And so I'm going to tell my last 3rd story, and that is Mandy Pilk. So Mandy, wherever you are in this crowd, if you're here, is Mandy here? Mandy? There's Mandy. And the reason I mention Mandy is Mandy got her MBA online, and Mandy is the online HR administrator for mental health support services for Chesterfield County. She's a mom, 2 kids. Her and her husband both graduated from Longwood, and Julie tells me that she just couldn't do her job without her. So why did she get her master's? Here's what she said. It gives me more leadership skills, more organizational skills, and allows me to apply my knowledge to real-world situations. And I literally could take this mic, which I should do, and walk out there right now, and every one of you could tell almost an identical story. So my next point, sort of an unusual point for someone who's been so dedicated to get their graduate degree, but I mean it. Never lose your passion for your chosen profession. In other words, never get bored with your job. You know, it's funny, I got to be in the legislature for 32 years, and some nights I would walk around the Capitol grounds. And I'd always start off at the George Washington equestrian statue, which is stunning. And as the founding fathers, it's got John Marshall. And then if you keep looking, it's got Jefferson, it's got Patrick Henry. But if you keep walking down Capitol Square, you'll see the Virginia Civil Rights Memorial. There are 18 statues to those that fought segregation. And then, of course, the most famous statue there is probably Barbara Johns. And that just always moved me so much. And on that statue, it says, "It seemed like reaching for the moon." That was her quote. So then I always turn and walked down the steps to the Capitol. I got to serve in the longest, oldest legislative body in the New World. It is where representative democracy started. And I used to tell every single new delegate, the moment you get tired of that, the moment you don't think it's a big deal to represent 80,000 constituents, the moment you don't think it's a big deal to try to solve the complex problems that Taylor Reevely talked about, you should get out. And my second is a teacher story, because a lot of you are teachers. And I was a government teacher, so when you walked in my class the first day, I would always say the following: you're in the most important class you'll ever take. And I meant it. And I said, we're going to do a little simulation. And of course, they're looking at me like, man, it's the first day, Mr. Cox. You should be handing out books and insurance forms. And the simulation was really interesting. And I always use the President of the United States, and I'd give them 2 pages of background on what the President had been doing. And I would say, you can't change any of the facts. In the very last paragraph, it would say, 3 gunmen have emerged. They've shot the President. You're the Vice President. You got 15 minutes to prepare and tell me what you're going to do. So you can imagine. So I put them in groups of 4, let them work together, and then I'd start calling on students. So I'd call on my first student. Anyone, say, raise your hand. And you always have the smartest kid in the class who's going to show you he's the smartest kid in the class. So he's like this. So I pick him. But no one else is raising their hands because it's the first day of school. They're all looking at their feet. Have you ever noticed that? They're all like this. And I used to always say, if you're looking at your feet, I'm calling on you. So they all looked right at me. So I'd call on the poor kid that doesn't want to be called on. And to make a long story short, I put them both outside the room. I'd be the vice president's spokesperson, and I would say to the rest of the class, you're the press. And I'm going to hand you a series of questions, and when the vice president comes in and gives a statement, you ask him the questions. So I'm going to introduce him. And so I went, ladies and gentlemen of the press, the vice president will talk to you for about 10 minutes to bring you up to date on this tragic situation with the president. And so the first student walks in, and all the students stand up, and guess what they do? They whoop and cheer and clap because they want to make him feel good. And I said, stop. You're the independent free press. You don't cheerlead. That's a fundamental tenet of American democracy. Sit down. So then the student gets up, the smart one, and I gave him one clue. I always said they were Russian-made weapons. So the student, sure enough, accuses Russia, starts World War III. And anyone that grew up in the Cold War knew that Russian-made weapons were all over the black market and with proxy states. But then finally, to wrap this story up, I would point at a student and say, ask the first question. So the student would stand up and go, Jen Smith, Washington Post. Mr. Vice President, how does the 25th Amendment affect this situation? And the smartest kid in the class doesn't have a clue what the 25th Amendment is, and so he sort of looks down, and finally goes, I don't know. And I said, stop. I said, you're finished. You're done. You're the Vice President of the United States. You've trained your entire life for this moment. The free world's looking at you. You're passionate about mental health issues and education issues that we would like to try to solve. And because you couldn't answer that question, you'll never get to do any of that. There are only 27 of them. You should at least know the 25th that deals with the disability of the president. And I told them, by the end of the year, you'll know the Constitution, you'll know the Declaration. We'll debate the great issues of the day. And what I love about Longwood, and you will be that citizen that we have to make this representative democracy work. My next piece of quick advice is, and this is going to happen, you will go through tough times. In politics, we sort of call those the wilderness years. And I thought I'd give you a quick example, one of my heroes, Abraham Lincoln. So I'll read you a very quick list. He lost his job in 1832. He was defeated for the state legislature in 1832. He failed in business in 1833. He was elected to the state legislature in 1834. His first love, Anne Rutledge, died of typhoid in 1835. He had a nervous breakdown in 1836. He was defeated for Speaker in 1838. He was defeated for the nomination for Congress in 1843, elected to Congress in 1846, but lost re-nomination in 1848. He He was defeated for the U.S. Senate in 1854, defeated for the nomination for vice president in 1856, again defeated for U.S. Senate in 1858, and elected president in 1860. There's so many opportunities that come out of failure. And finally, be an inspiration. Dare to be a role model, and that's the corniest thing you can say today. But the life you lead, people really will copy. So I'm going to give you two Longwood examples of my role models. So Kevin Napier, Kevin, stand up. I made Kevin come. He didn't know why I made him come. So I've known Kevin since elementary school. And he sort of grew up with my boys, played on the tennis team with my two youngest sons, and came to Longwood and was in the same fraternity as my son Lane. But it's interesting, I was talking to his mom, and she said, man, the last place he wanted to come was Longwood. I came to Longwood. But what's the funny thing was, it's the only school he actually applied to. So he came here, and it wasn't a really easy first semester for him. But he really got the rhythm of Longwood. He's the perfect student for Longwood. And he goes on to be student body president. Man, they're only one of those. It's really hard to do. But talking about perseverance, at the exact same time, his father, who he's extremely close to, passes away. And his mom told me this Longwood community just surrounded him. It did something that probably no other university would have done. So he goes on to work in the Honors College, and then my heart becomes an elementary school teacher. And you just look at his Facebook post. He loves what he does. He loves his students. He loves to inspire them. He's the exact kind of student that Longwood produces. And finally, my second example is Taylor Reevely IV. So Kevin had great potential in high school. He's a citizen leader today because of the Longwood culture that Taylor has helped create. Now, he's got a lot of stripes on his robe. He's a classics major, Latin scholar at Princeton, where he really studies the foundation society. He writes an 82-page thesis on the classical influence on James Madison's political thought. And so the founding fathers in that, of course, unique American experiment in democracy, Masters in Divinity, JD, UVA School of Law, Managing Director of the Miller Center, National War Powers Commission. So how do you take all that and become President of Longwood at 36? So I'm talking to his wife, Marlo, and she goes, and only way Marlo could say it, who was a tremendous businesswoman in her own right, she goes, being president of a public university wasn't necessarily on our bingo card. And she said, when we got to Longwood, it was a terrible day. It was rainy, it was dreary. And he said, this place has amazing bones. It's not too big. The students are earnest, resilient, reliable, hardworking, can-do. It's the intersection of so many historical events, from the Revolution to the Civil War to Barbara Johns and the Civil Rights Movement. In a recent speech Taylor gave, he so well defined part of the mission of higher ed. Higher ed is the great engine that prepares each generation for democracy. But finally, the reason I think he's a great person is he's a great friend. You know, when he called me to give the speech, he was so enthusiastic and so happy for me. Whenever we talk, which we've done many times over the years, it's always, what books are you reading? How's your family doing? And how can we sort of solve some of those problems? Now, he's not perfect. His wife tells me they have a place in the fan, mainly for her business. And then one day when they were teaching, they just, new chandelier, painted the downstairs. And supposedly when their daughter, they were teaching how to use the shower pulled off, water's coming through the chandelier, water's coming through the new paint, and Taylor, being Taylor, says, I can fix it. 10 minutes later, the fire department was coming, and he's no plumber. I did hear they gave him a key for Christmas to turn off the water. So let me leave you with this final thought. A young and successful executive was traveling down a neighborhood street, going a bit too fast in his new Jag. He was watching for kids darting out from between parked cars and slowed down when he thought he saw something. As his car passed No children appeared. Instead, a brick smashed into the JAG's side door. He slammed on the brakes, and he spun the Jag back to the spot where the brick had been thrown. He jumped out of the car, grabbed the kid who was standing there, and pushed him against a parked car, shouting, "What do you think you're doing?" Burning up a head of steam, he went on, "That's a new car, and that brick you threw is going to cost a lot of money. Why did you do it?" "Please, sir, please, I'm sorry. I didn't know what else to do," pleaded the youngster. "I threw the brick because no one else would stop." Tears were streaming down the boy's chin as he pointed around the parked car. "It's my brother, sir," he said. "He rolled off the curb and fell out of his wheelchair, and I can't lift him up." Sobbing, the boy asked the executive, "Would you please help me get him back in his wheelchair, sir? He's hurt and he's just much too heavy for me." Moved beyond words, the driver tried to swallow the rapidly swelling lump in his throat. He lifted the young man back into the wheelchair and took out his handkerchief and wiped the scrapes and cuts, checking to see that everything was going to be okay. "Thank you, may God bless you, sir," the grateful child said to him. The man then watched the little boy push his brother down the sidewalk toward their home. It was a long walk back to his Jag, a long, slow walk. He never did repair the side door. He kept the dent to remind him not to go through life always thinking the worst of others and moving so quickly that someone must throw a brick to get your attention. And oh, by the way, I almost forgot, never give up, never give up, never give up.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think you and the rector conspired, but maybe you did. Maybe you did. Graduates, families, we are at the midway point, and we just have a few lively steps before we get to the main act. And in that regard, I'm going to call forward our provost, Larissa Smith, to say some words of welcome, and then offer up our awards for faculty and students.
Good evening, and welcome to degree candidates and to your family and friends. On behalf of Longwood's faculty, I want to congratulate you on your accomplishments. This evening is a culmination of a choice to pursue a graduate degree and to pursue it at Longwood. Whether that choice was made as you considered a change in career because of the pandemic, or whether you knew when you started your undergraduate degree that you were headed toward this milestone, this journey has been significant. Your persistence through this turbulent period in our history is noteworthy, and your accomplishments deserve celebration. As a citizen leader, you recognize that many moments occur with the guidance and help of others. Our passionate and dedicated faculty take pride in having crafted program pathways for you to improve your opportunities through an advanced degree, while also recognizing that many of you are already working professionals. They have prepared you to join a community of scholars and leaders in your chosen field. They have prepared you to make positive contributions, dare I say even profound impacts, on your communities. Now, there are other key individuals here tonight who also have been on this journey with you. Your family and friends have helped to sustain and support you, encouraging you through words and by deed. They have sacrificed and given you the needed time to focus on your studies. And so let's give them a round of applause tonight. This ceremony may mark an end, but the word commencement refers to a beginning. As you begin this next phase, I challenge you to mold your knowledge and your experience in ways that help and inspire, just as those who have accompanied you this evening have done. Today, as we celebrate your accomplishments and acknowledge the work of those who have taught and mentored you, there are a few special people who who are receiving further commendation. And now I invite Janine Perry, Dean of the College of Graduate and Professional Studies, to assist in presenting the Graduate Faculty, Student, and Alumni Awards. And I encourage you to read along in your insert in your program for profiles of the award winners. Award winners, as your name is announced, please come forward to receive your award. The Graduate Faculty Research Award recognizes a graduate faculty member for unique or innovative work within their discipline that results in publication and the advancement of that discipline. This year, the Graduate Faculty Research Award recipient is Dr. Meg Meng, Associate Professor of Marketing. The Graduate Faculty Teaching and Mentoring Award recognizes distinction and initiative in graduate teaching and mentoring above and beyond the regular requirements of a graduate faculty member. The Graduate Faculty Teaching and Mentoring Award recipient is Dr. Tom Plahovensak, Associate Professor of Economics. Congratulations to Dr. Meng and Dr. Plahovensak. We will now announce our Student and Alumni Award recipients. As your name is read, please come to the stage to receive your award. The Longwood Graduate Innovation Award recognizes current graduate students who have taken their research or area of study beyond the university classroom to real-world application through conference presentations, publications, teaching, work in the field, and other innovative endeavors. The Longwood Graduate Innovation Award recipient is Curtis Clark, earning a degree in Master's of Business Administration. The Graduate Citizen Leader Award recognizes current graduate students who have demonstrated outstanding leadership in graduate studies or their field or profession. The Graduate Citizen Leader Award recipient is Carissa Strum, Master of Science in Communication Sciences and Disorders. The Graduate Young Alumni Award recognizes a recent graduate who has engaged in unique activities and displayed initiative in applying their research or area of study in the field. This includes conferences, publications, teaching, and/or other activities or achievements that contribute to the profession. The Graduate Young Alumni Award is Brittany Willis, Class of 22, Master of Education in School Librarianship. You know those school librarians are always the rowdiest in the bunch. And our final award this evening is the Graduate Alumni Award, which recognizes a program graduate who has continued to excel in their career and make contributions to their field. Our Graduate Alumni Award recipient is Lori Donovan, Class of 05, Master of Education.
We have made our way through our ceremonial steps, gotten ourselves limbered up, and the moment is nigh to walk across the stage. Mr. Rector, will you come forward to authorize the conferral of degrees?
Mr. President, on behalf of the Board of Visitors, it is not only my pleasure, but my distinct honor to authorize you to award the degrees.
We are in business. Madam Provost, please come forward again.
Will the candidates for master's degree in the College of Education, Health, and Human Services please rise? President Reevely, on the recommendation of Dean Angela McDonald and the faculty in the College of Education, Health, and Human Services, I present to you these candidates who have fulfilled all the prescribed conditions for their master's degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Visitors and on the recommendation of the faculty of Longwood University, I hereby confer upon you your master's degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations and welcome to the devoted ranks of Longwood graduate alumni. Let's have a round of applause. And now you can be seated, and then you will come forward in an orderly fashion.
Yes, could Angela McDonald, Dean of the College of Education, Health, and Human Services, and Janine Perry, Dean of the College of Graduate and Professional Studies, please come forward to assist in the awarding of degrees. And candidates, will you please come forward when instructed so we can recognize your accomplishments.
For the Master of Education in Reading, Literacy, and Learning, Rachel Monica Antonio. Jean Marie Darnell Baer. Janelle Inez Brim. Katie Thomas Clements. Caitlin Brooke Deal. Molly Maureen Hood. Alexa Elizabeth Lavinka. Marissa Frances Montemiro. Catherine Marie Schoolmeester. Hope Shields. For the Master of Education in School Librarianship Initial Licensure Track, Allison Marie Gilly. Kristen Hudson. Sharon Ruth Highland. Elizabeth Lee Kump. Adam Tucker. Molly Bame. For the Master of Education in School Librarianship License Teacher Track, David Geiger. Tiffany Michelle Maxwell. Christine Carter Millett. Jessica Lynn Sproat Nelson. Clifton Dale Palmer. Tiffany Marie Payne. Brittany Therese Willis. For the Master of Science in Communication Sciences and Disorders, Delaney Marie Amend. Sarah Christina Anderson. Taylor Carroll. Brandon Otto Casey. Emily Elizabeth Cook. Lindsay Carrington Costner. Paula Cruz. Sarah Grace Eversman. Deja Fowler. Mary Gardner. Mackenzie King. Elizabeth Jean Kish. Olivia Amy Utong. Stephanie Marie Radford. Paige Elizabeth Romine. Gabrielle Rose Scarpa. Abigail Faith Short. Carissa Strum. Gabriela Marie Vallejo. Casey Dawn Vandegrift. Connor Lee Waldrop. Simone Allison Rebecca White. Aaron O'Devlin Wind. For the Master of Science in Counselor Education Mental Health Counseling track, Chelsea Marie Adams. Jaralise Alicia Pagan. Samantha Joan Bazek. Ellen Windsor Chafin. Anne Marie Drablos. Megan Elizabeth Giannini. Colleen Marie Gleason. Megan Halavati Haddock. Madison Taylor Lockamy. Mary Rose Purcell. Haley Nicole Schultz. Caitlin Brianna Shanes. Mallory Paige Talbert. Destiny Anastasia Thompson. Madison Lee Tunstall. Olivia Florentina Islas. For the Master of Science in Counselor Education School Counseling track, Maya Tia Breakcliffe. Charity Nicole Brimmer. Renee Marie Cotton. Lexi Elise Eckerd. Andrew Sergey Larson. Alyssa Ray Martin. Allison Nicole Patterson. Ava Michelle Pugliese. Caitlin Ann Sharp. Olivia Hooper Urena. Autumn Healy Weisner. For the Master of Science in Education, Educational Leadership, Ashley Danielle Bright. Brittany Lynn Cage. Lindsay Annalise Dannon. Allison Nicole Derrick. Claire Schroeder Gillespie. Kelsey Renee Gray. Cynthia Lee Helmantoller Quantz. Brennan Joseph Hoffer. Danielle Alexandra Jones. Nicole Lee Lieber. Megan Amos Martin. Kyle Matthew McCullum. Shirley Catherine Perry. Elizabeth Page Pumphrey. Kyle Swanson Stone. Kelsey Aaron Thompson. Ricky Allen Vernon. Megan Washburn. Caitlin Elise Watson. Garia Wardlaw Ewell. For the Master of Science in Education, Elementary and Middle School Mathematics, Diane Daly Richmond. For the Master of Science in Education, Health and Physical Education, Reagan Elise Kwiatkowski. Ashley Diane Sipe. Kayla Nicole Tobin. Emma Gray Scott Wachter. For the Master of Science in Education, Special Education, General Curriculum, 5th year, Rachel Emily Bibb. Natalie Selena Collins. Sarah Grace Danko. Catherine Baker Davoud. Ashton Grace Feinhirsch. Jillian Christine Fitzgerald. Caitlin Elizabeth Hahn. Alyssa Nicole Krenicki. Alexis Denise Lyles. Savannah Shea McClenny. Brooke Nicole McGowan. Jessica Lee Morris. Ashley Elizabeth Schweitzer. Stacy L. Stevenson. Ashton Lee Talley. Chanel Renee Williams. Taylor Ray Withrow. For the Master of Science in Education, Special Education, General Curriculum, Initial Licensure, Brooke Ann Baker. Susan Cassoni. Carly Ann Childress. Marita Duran. Megan Elizabeth Leahy. Carla Alejandra Luis Palomares. For the Master of Science in Education, Special Education, General Curriculum Licensed Teacher, Grayson Aaron Edwards. Megan Christian Vernon.
I think let's keep rolling.
Keep rolling?
Yeah.
Right. Act 2. Will the candidates for the master's degree in the College of Business and Economics please rise? President Reevely, on the recommendation of Interim Dean Sarah Neer and the faculty in the College of Business and Economics, I present to you these candidates who have fulfilled all the prescribed conditions for their master's degree.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Visitors and on the recommendation of the faculty of Longwood University, I hereby confer upon you your master's degree with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations and welcome to the devoted ranks of Longwood's alumni. And you all have witnessed the drill, so you can sit and then come forward in orderly phalanxes.
And Sarah Neer, Dean of the College of Business and Economics, will be joining Dean Janine Perry in assisting and awarding the degrees. Will the candidates of the College of Business and Economics please come forward when instructed so we can recognize your accomplishments?
For the Master of Business Administration Data Analytics track, Abigail Maira Breeding. Letitia Chambers. Curtis Clare. Dylan Clark. Michael Dylan Cohen. Michael DeMarco. Peter Dorner. Ashley Iman Dunaway. Jessica Durand. Clarissa Antoinette Hedgepeth. Caitlin Haggerty Heidenthal. Ryan Gonzalez Hoskins. Jennifer Lucia Jeffers. Dalen Blum LaCroix. Joel Jumo Buemo. Donald McCullough. Momoyo Ober. Nicholas Aaron Pendergraft. Manuela Rafali Gamgu Tachi. Pauline Nkengolefak Thomas. Daniel Jason Turner. Jennifer Wade. Martin Walsh. Rachel Sue Wooten. For the Master of Business Administration Economics track, Ryan Haney. For the Master of Business Administration General Business track, Luvanda Janelle Okonde. Jamel Daquan Alexander. Tara Lynn Allen. Jakira Battle. Angel Annette Baugh. Stacy Lynn Birchfield Foltz. Tanya L. Bodie. Kiana Bajorquez. Hector Gabriel Cantua. John Christopher Chapman. Jamie Michelle Chase. Catherine Rose Connor. Shakaya Devon Cooper. Lauren Madison Krickenberger. Taylor Victoria Davis. Sarah Doder. Colby Lee Donahue. Diane Blum Dykes. John Samuel Edwards. Melinda Elliott. Lori Catherine Fagan. Stephen John Fowler. Trevor Flynn. Peter Frederick Francisco. James Luke Franklin. Suzanne Zay Gallagher. Elizabeth Michelle Gargis. Kevin Earl Gatewood. Rebecca Hicks. Giovanna Fontaine Hughes. Jade Danielle Jackson. Amy Nicole Jernigan. Tamara P. Johnson. Charles Bracken Jones. Devin Lana Nicole Jones. Maya Jones. Krista Lee Callwhite. Margaret Kennedy. Brandon Matthew Knowles. David Travis Lassiter, excuse me. Kanaya Lee. Nishan Marche Lee. Miranda Nicole Light. Corrine Ann Loudon. Peyton Landry Minnick. Heather Modispaw. Rebecca Mon. Allison Hill Moore. Floyd Alexander Moore, Jr. Jessica Renee Moore. Susan Hines, the University Registrar, will hood her daughter, Kathin Amelia Nasberg. Ikechukwa Anthony Nadi. Olumide Oluwole Onulide. Jessica Polakowski. Oluwatoyin Sanyo-Oto Phillips. Amanda Lowe Pilk. Angela Riddick. Stephen Anthony Riddick. Jason David Risley. Ashley Renee Rodriguez. Miriam Elisabel Rosales. Angel Kaylin Marie Rupard. Jamie Lauren Saunders. Tamika Serrano. Pierce Solberg. Taylor Noel Southall. Karen Spence. Colin Spence. Amari Stone. Janae Aletha Sullivan. Hannah Joy Tatagiri Garapa. Scott Clifford Taylor. Tesfai Teamu Tesfu. Alicia Ivalise Tropper. Lawrence Tucker II. Milu Venema. Jackson Luke Walston. Trey White. Kaya Grace Whitlock. Jocelyn Madeline Wilson. Zachary David Wilson. Dion Lamont Wright. Raven Younger. For the Master of Business Administration Marketing track, Maisha Aldridge. Brandon Andrew Busky. Lauren Bradford. Hope Patrice Brown. Jennifer Chenault Walker. Ashley Elizabeth Chipman. Minerva Cologne Pino. Judith Alexandra Dawson. Jackson Ranch Hanley. Grace Elizabeth Huffman. Joseph Lupitin. Anthony Mason Phillips. Lakin Michelle Rennick. Logan Reiser. Laurel Elise Thorison. For the Master of Business Administration Real Estate track, Kevin Sean Bean. Logan Gower. Sarah Beth Bernier. Kelly M. Gilmet. Vanette Anne Marie Hunter. DeAndrea Reed Jones. Emma Norgazeva. Tira Beth C. Cassandra McCord Slayton.
All right, so one order of business. I think we need to give a round of applause to the great Josh Blakely for sonorously reading out all those names. And then a virtue of Willett Hall is it gets loud. So, graduates of 2023, you all rise as a body, and let's give them a thunderous round of applause. Madam Provost, hit us with our closing thoughts.
Graduates, it has a nice ring to it. The advanced degree which you have received today carries the benefits of professional success and advancement, along with the responsibilities of leadership and service in your careers and professional lives. As a Longwood graduate, you carry the qualities of integrity, respect, scholarship, perseverance, and honesty out to the schools and universities, clinics and hospitals, business and government agencies for whom you work or will work. We are proud of your accomplishments and wish you success and happiness in all your future endeavors. And now, Catherine M. Trent, class of 2023, will lead us in the singing of the alma mater. You want to do your closing remarks first and ask them to stand? Have them stand. Go ahead and please stand and remain standing for the recessional.
Faithful and devoted be thy sons and daughters forever. Hail to thee, dear alma mater, hail to thee, all hail. Onward ever, Longwood, proud and true eternally, thy love will always guide and protect and keep them faithful to thee. Thy love will always guide and protect and keep them faithful to thee.
You may retire the colors. So inscribed on this medallion, this chain of office, are words written almost 600 years ago about Joan of Arc, our patron hero, just as pertinent to the citizen leaders about to go forward today. These are the words. Who, in the moment of victory, remains inaccessible to vanity and hate. Who, in the midst of popular enthusiasm, lives in humility and prayer. Who, in the universal crush of ambition, covets neither profit nor honors. Go and do great good, Lancers. Godspeed. You will be on the heart of the alma mater always. Dr. Apperson, this concludes the commencement exercises of the day.
Applause.